on Worcester News Tonight. As the WRTA faces potential cuts due to a budget deficit, a senator is stepping in to help save service. Plus, Mayor Petty speaking out on how the city needs to distance itself from gun manufacturers. Good evening and thank you for joining us. I'm Anna Botari. In an order to the city manager, Mayor Joseph Petty is asking Worcester to consider divesting from firearm manufacturers. Petty says the idea would allow the city to remove association with manufacturers not making guns for law enforcement and the military, while supporting victims of gun violence. Our Cam Jandro joins us now live with the details. Cam?
Anna, the mayor says he is a supporter of the Second Amendment, but feels the country needs to find new ways to combat gun violence. Today I sat down with the mayor and we discussed his new order.
Worcester Mayor Joe Petty is asking the city to think about divesting from any companies who bring in at least 15% of their revenue from guns and ammunition.
About a month ago in the White House, they had a nice meeting where they're going to do some changes. I haven't heard anything since. So if nobody wants to take action, maybe it's the time money talks.
If approved, the city's pension fund would remove all such firearm companies. Earlier this month, State Treasurer Deborah Goldberg filed a similar bill regarding the state's public pension. According to the bill, $5 million of the state's $72 billion pension fund would be included in the divestment bill. Although unsure if Worcester has investments in guns, Petty says he wants Massachusetts to set an example.
I think Massachusetts, the rules are pretty good in Massachusetts right now, and hopefully most of the country will follow with the rules that we have in place. It's more the military-style weapons, and there's no reason for it. There's exemptions that if a company builds for the military, of course they're not going to divest from that.
According to their websites, firearm manufacturers American Outdoor Brand and Sturm Ruger & Company have seen drops in their stock prices since the shooting in Parkland, Florida. Petty hopes divesting from these types of manufacturers sends a message to the NRA.
Yeah, we could be investing in some company, who knows, in another part of the country. They'll get the message. And again, I'm not against the Second Amendment. I'm just looking for common sense gun laws.
Now, we did reach out to the retirement board to see if the city does in fact have investments in gun companies, but we did not hear back from them. Mayor Petty will be taking his order in front of the City Council on April 3rd. Anna?
Thanks, Cam. The Massachusetts Board of Education is saying no to arming teachers in the classroom. This comes weeks after a massacre at Florida High School left 17 people dead. Allison King has a closer look at the board's decision.
Signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? The motion carries unanimously.
And with that, the Massachusetts Board of Education made it clear it opposes the Trump administration's call to arm teachers in schools. The board's resolution says that arming educators will make schools less safe by increasing the risk of accidental shootings and would compromise the safe and supportive environment essential for learners. It also states that teachers should be employed on the basis of educational credentials, not skills as a security officer.
Public safety officers will tell you that in order to be effective with a firearm in a situation like that, a crisis situation, you need training on an ongoing basis, and teachers are just never going to be that well trained. Even if they are trained in a firearm, they're not going to be trained in the kind of practices they need to be effective in those situations.
The resolution is a statement of belief only on the part of the Board of Education. It does not have any legal power, but the board does hope that it sends a strong message both here in Massachusetts and nationally. For Worcester News Tonight, I'm Allison King.
Senator Michael Moore is airing his concerns with cuts to the WRTA, considered due to the governor's budget proposal. Moore and State Representative Hannah Kane wrote a letter to the WRTA saying the cuts could have long-term negative implications on it and its service. Moore says he spoke with the WRTA this afternoon and says they've already been able to reduce the deficit from $900,000 to $600,000 without cutting service.
Branches of the process to go through. The House hasn't released their budget. The Senate hasn't. We haven't done ours yet. So it's really going to be up to us now to try to make sure we can get some additional funding so that they can at least maintain the current services that they're providing.
Moore and Kane have co-signed letters to the Senate and House chairs of the committee requesting no less than $88 million be expended for regional transit authorities in fiscal year 2019, which is $8 million more than the Governor Charlie Baker's current budget. We're learning more about a man arrested in connection to the murder of a West Brookfield mother and her 3 children. Matthew Locke is only charged with misleading investigators, and there are new questions now whether the homicides were gang-related. Our Rosalind Flaherty has details.
Court documents reveal why the Worcester County District Attorney is charging 31-year-old Matthew Locke with misleading investigators. But they also bring up more questions about who murdered Sarah Bermudez and her 3 young children inside their West Brookfield home.
It's kind of nerve-wracking because, we all have small children. I have 4 boys. You don't know what's going on.
According to the statement of facts, Locke told investigators he had been in contact with Moses Bermudez after the murders and indicated to police members of the gang MS-13 were responsible. But it goes on to say the husband and father of the victims denies seeing Locke and denies linking anyone from the gang to the crime. Investigators interviewed a 3rd man who says he was with Locke at the Bermudez residence recently, but says Moses Bermudez never spoke of the MS-13 gang.
I'm disappointed that someone would lie to mislead the police in the investigation, because this is a really close and tight town where everybody knows each other.
The children's grandparents say they know Locke, and people in town say the situation is concerning.
I don't know what he knows or why he would do that, but it's kind of all strange.
With children involved, it's always tragic.
Almost a month after the murders, many in the small town just want answers.
Everybody hopes that it comes to a close soon for the family.
Rosalind Flaherty, Worcester News Tonight.
It's all about eating healthy. Centro in Worcester is on a mission to help its clients prepare better meals from the food they receive each month. Tuesday, the organization hosted a taste testing using recipes with lentils. Food pantry clients were able to taste the food and get new recipes to use at home. Centro packages their food bags to ensure everyone is getting a balanced diet. But sometimes people don't know the ingredients. Today, they gave them a chance to learn more ways to cook with these foods.
Teaching people how to just stretch their dollars. And if you have limited ingredients and limited things and resources, how to just make it, people are very resourceful, but, if we put our minds collectively together, then maybe we could, continue to be even more resourceful than we already are if it does limit, the things that people are getting.
Centro says the program, Getting the Most from Your Food Pantry, will take place quarterly throughout 2018 and will feature a different food item at each event. Worcester's downtown development takes another step forward with a new hotel set to open next month. AC Hotel Worcester by Marriott is located on Front Street. According to its website, the 6th-floor hotel has 160 rooms, including 10 suites, and has almost 9,000 square feet of meeting space. According to the Telegram and Gazette, it will open April 19th. This hotel is the second to open near the city's downtown in the past year. Homewood Suites by Hilton Worcester opened back in June. A fundraiser set for this summer will honor Harrington Hospital nurse Elise Wilson. The longtime nurse was attacked by a patient last summer. Harrington says the event is their major fundraiser to renovate and expand the emergency department in Southbridge. 2 NFL football players, Julian Edelman and Danny Amendola, are set to make an appearance at the Mechanics Hall event. Tickets will go on sale May 1st. Southbridge Public Schools are making positive strides under state receivership, but a lot of families are choosing to send their children to a charter school or other towns. It's resulted in major budget problems for the town. Our Brittany Schaefer has the story.
Southbridge schools have lost close to 300 students. It's leading to less state funding and higher charter school assessment costs, which is leaving the town struggling to find money-saving options. Southbridge is dealing with a $2 million loss in their budget. It's the result of fewer students choosing to stay in the town's public school system.
Over the last 5 years, our population of students has been decreasing slowly. This year, I think it's one of the largest increases. It's by, I believe, close to 100 children leaving our district this year.
The approval of the charter school, in my mind, was one of the worst things the state could have done during the beginning of this receivership. Right now we're losing about $2.5 million to school choice and the charter school.
In fiscal year 2019, a new charter schools assessment will cost the town close to $900,000. It's $600,000 more than in 2018. And because 272 fewer students are enrolled in their public schools, the town suffered a loss in the rate of Chapter 70 funding. Town manager Ron Sanangelo says the state receiver is considering some difficult options.
Right now under consideration is potentially losing about 15 teachers, about 8 teaching assistants, 3 administrators, trying to reduce the amount of spending in all areas in order to make up for this loss of state funding and trying to provide a quality education for the kids at the same time. It's difficult.
School board member Jacqueline Ryan says cutting those jobs will hurt the progress being made within the schools.
Having to cut jobs at this point is sad. We are going to be hurting, and it's going to hurt the recovery we're having in Southbridge.
Town Council Chair Denise Clemens says they're looking at all options to save money, but she doesn't want cuts to public safety.
Where can we do without, besides the safety end of it? People who live here, a very diverse community, who need a lot of attention and a lot of those safety nets, and it's getting harder and harder to provide that on the budget that we have.
Sanangelo says even without increasing school funding, property taxes will likely increase by at least 3%. He says this will be a big blow to his taxpayers. Brittany Schaefer, Worcester News Tonight.
Researchers at UMass Medical School now have an HIV vaccine ready to be tested. A doctor there has spent 30 years working on it in an effort to address the major global health threat. Our Chandler Walsh has the story.
Researchers at UMass Medical School are working on an HIV vaccine. The solution for preventing HIV and AIDS could one day come from Worcester.
It can be useful for any of us if you are under any risk to be infected.
The vaccine is now in the beginning stages of testing, making sure it's safe. UMass's Sean Liu has been working on the vaccine for more than 2 decades. He says it would be a big step for HIV research and can be licensed as a product if it passes all stages of testing.
HIV has many tricky or very sneaky way to protect itself. So developing a vaccine against HIV is not so easy.
Sissy Nsubaka is a research technician in the lab. She says some of her family members are affected by HIV, making it meaningful work for her.
To be a part of the research makes me feel like I'm making a small difference in a whole big picture, and hopefully in 10, 20 years I'll be able to say I helped out with that.
Liu's HIV vaccine is known as a DNA vaccine. He says the technique uses DNA to create an immune response.
We use the pieces of gene from the virus, but it itself is safe because it's not a whole virus genome. This cannot lead to viral infection.
If it's successful, it would be the first of its kind. Liu says DNA vaccines could also be made for the flu and other viruses.
It could representing the completely new era of vaccine science.
Chandler Walsh, Worcester News Tonight.